Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I have another unboxing for you guys, a highly anticipated addition to my collection. Today I am going to be unboxing the Criterion Collection Edition, or the only edition of this film that exists in physical media, The Irishman. So I saw The Irishman years ago on Netflix because it was on Netflix, and by that point I was already a fan of Martin Scorsese. I had seen Goodfellas, I had seen The Irishman, I'd seen Goodfellas, I'd seen Casino, I'd seen Mean Streets, I'd seen The Departed, and I was like, man, this guy's like the greatest director ever. And then I found The Irishman, and I was like, oh, this seems cool. It has Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. All the greats. So I watched it with my dad. I thought it was great. Typical Martin Scorsese, goodness. I mean, there were some parts that were questionable, but that's only because, Martin Scorsese has been in the game for, like, years. So obviously, the joints are going to be a little rusty after all these years, Some of you may know what I'm talking about. Hint, hint. The scene where Robert De Niro beats up the store owner I feel like that stomach churning scene where you can tell that Robert De Niro has reached his peak of age. But anyways, here it is, The Irishman on Criterion DVD. Martin Scorsese approved. This was actually the first Criterion I ever saw, because I searched up if this movie had a DVD so I could buy it, and it turns out this is the only edition of the movie that you can get is on Criterion. Either that or the Blu-ray Criterion. That's the only way you can get this movie on physical media. And here it is. There's the cover, very cool. There's the side, The Irishman, 2019. And here we go. I'm going to read to you the entire back. The Criterion Collection, a continuing series of important classic and contemporary films, presents The Irishman. Martin Scorsese's cinematic mastery is on full display in the sweeping crime saga, which serves as an I've never seen that word before. Elegiac, whatever, summation of his 6-decade career. So you see, that's 60 years this guy has been in the game, so, Left behind by the world, former hitman and union truck driver Frank Sheeran, played by Robert De Niro, looks back from a nursing home on his life's journey through the ranks of organized crime. From his involvement with Philadelphia mob boss Russell Buffalino, played by Joe Pesci, to his association with Teamsters union head Jimmy Hoffa, Al Pacino. So you see, we got the whole gang here. We got the whole trio of just amazingness together. To the rift that forced him to choose between the two. An intimate story of loyalty and betrayal writ large across the epic canvas of mid-20th century American history. The Irishman, based on the real-life Sheeran's confessions as told to writer Charles Brandon for the book I Heard You Paint Houses, is a uniquely reflective late-career triumph that balances its director's virtuoso set pieces with a profoundly personal rumination on aging, mortality, and the decisions and regrets that shape a life. So yeah, pretty much, your average Martin Scorsese mafia film, like Goodfellas, Casino, although this one is a little bit more grandiose than those other ones. But, just because it's more grandiose doesn't mean it's more better technically, I still think Goodfellas is, like, the best thing Martin has ever made. Either that or Taxi Driver. New 4K digital master approved by director Martin Scorsese. Newly edited roundtable conversation among Scorsese and actors Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci, originally recorded in 2019. Making The Irishman, a new program featuring Scorsese, the lead actors, producers Emma Tillinger-Koskoff, Jane Rosenthal, and Erwin Winkler, director of photography Rodrigo Prieto, and others from the cast and crew. Gangster's Requiem, a new video essay by film critic Farron Smith Neame about the Irishman's synthesis of Scorsese's singular formal style. Anatomy of a Scene, The Irishman, a 2020 program featuring Scorsese's analysis of the Frank Sheeran Appreciation Night scene from the film. The Evolution of Digital De-Aging, a 2019 program on the visual effects created for the film. So yeah, the actors were like old as hell when this movie was made, but through the magic of de-aging, they could make them look a little less wrinklier. Yeah. Excerpted interviews with Frank the Irishman Sheeran and Teamsters trade union leader Jimmy Hoffa from 1999 and 1963. Trailer and teaser, English subtitles for the deaf and the hard of hearing, plus an essay by critic Jeffrey O'Brien. So yeah, there is a ton of stuff on this one little disc, and we're gonna open it up. I'm gonna be careful to save that director approved sticker on the front, because you know that's like a medal for these things. You know, it's like it wears it proudly on the front. So I want to save that. I'm so hyped that this thing is finally in my collection. You guys have, ever since I saw the movie and ever since I heard of Criterion through this film, I was like, I can't wait to own The Irishman. And now I own The Irishman. So here it is. Like, whoa. Okay, so obviously I don't think they would have wanted to pack everything on one single disc. So here's disc 1 and here's disc 2. And this is upside down for some reason. There is that classic scene from the film. Yeah, huge essay, as typical of a lot of Criterion releases. And there's the whole gang: Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. Although they're old, they are kind of still in their prime. I mean, kind of, you know. Like I said, a lot of the scenes in this film kind of, you know, went in directions that I didn't like, but whatever. About the master, The Irishman, you guys are going to want to hear this. The Irishman is presented in its original aspect ratio of 1.85.1. This digital master, with color grading approved by director Martin Scorsese, cinematographer Rodrigo Prieto, and editor Thelma Schoonmaker, was created in 4K resolution using a combination of digital camera footage and the 35mm original camera negative. Digital cameras were employed to facilitate the scenes requiring de-aging visual effects. Different lookup tables, LUTs, were applied to both the scanned film negative and digital footage to emulate old still photography emulsions such as Kodachrome and Ektachrome, as well as the ENR color processing technique. The 5.1 surround soundtrack was remastered from the digital master audio files using Avid's Pro Tools. So yeah, that's how they do this stuff. You know, it ain't easy. It ain't easy working at Criterion, but you know, they got to do it for the people. And there's something there in the back. I don't really care to open it right now, but yeah, that is my unboxing of The Irishman on Criterion. Very amazing, very cool film. You know, if you can pick it up on Criterion, I highly recommend you do so. But if you can't, I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not. It probably is, because, you know, it started off as a Netflix original. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's good. If you loved the old Martin Scorsese films, like, you know, Goodfellas, Casino, Taxi Driver, The Departed, although The Departed is, in my opinion, one of his more weaker films, but whatever. Or Mean Streets. If you loved those films, check out The Irishman. You know, it's going to take you back. It's got the whole trio of just, you know, mafia goodness. It's I have to rewatch it again just to see if it's, like, you know, as good as I remember it being, because obviously memory gets foggy over time, and, you know, you look back on things with a nostalgic bias. So I'll have to revisit this film and see if it is as good as I remember. Excuse me. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.